So I'm going to be showing you how to clean a carburetor on a KLX125. Hope this gives you some information that you might not know, or fixes your bike and you ride and you shred. Okay, well, taking apart KLX125L carburetor. This is the stock one, the Mikuni. Already kind of started it a little bit. Got these bull bolts taken off real quick. Now this is your bowl. Make sure it's as clean as you can get it. Looks like there's a little bit of stuff in there. This right here, big yellow thing, is your float. This is your float needle that it's holding onto, and this is the shaft that holds it. Go ahead and take out the shaft with something small like a seal pick, and gently take out your float seal and your float. And then you can get a little bit more exposed. This is main jet, pilot jet, and inlet valve. These two are supposed to have O-rings on them. Make sure that those seal. If they don't, they're probably going to leak gas, like I'm currently doing. Take out the inlet. You just unscrew this little plate. And you're trying to keep all this stuff pretty clean, because anything that gets stuck inside those jets will clog it, and you won't be able to ride or idle or nothing. And when you take out this one, there should be an O-ring around it. If it's trash, replace it. There's 3 right here, you see. So inlet, main, pilot. There are 2 more valves right here, which is your air valve, which goes straight in, your power valve that goes at an angle. For 125, this is usually an 85. This one is usually a 145. So what I was just having was it would not start, so I need to check the pilot, see if it's clogged. If it is, we can just poke it out because it's somewhat clean. But if it's really dirty in there, I would suggest using carb cleaner or something like that. And oh yeah, that thing is looking like it has crud in there. If you can't see daylight through it, there's no bueno. It's no good. You need to clean it. This tool right here is a jet cleaner kit. It comes with multiple cleaners, different sizes. Basically like little pieces of wire that you can use to poke out jets. So another thing I wanted to show was that usually these jets will have little tiny itty bitty numbers on them. So the Pilot is a 17.5. This top one, if it'll focus. Right there is a 102.5. The main. And there should be a gasket around the ball. Around here. Usually made out of paper, but the higher end bikes will probably have O-rings. So this big main jet right here can come into two pieces. This top portion will screw off with the flathead, and the bottom portion is an 8 mil. I don't need to necessarily clean this portion, but I still want to check it out and make sure we are all good in the hood. Looked kind of like there was some crap in there, but there ain't now. So looks good. Doing a little poker. So this portion with the screws is your vacuum diaphragm. It gives it to where when you give it throttle, it gives it more power, more gas. And this right here, your choke, comes off of a 14 mil, and Phillips is for the vacuum. Okay, so another thing to note that there is a screw for adjusting the idle right here. It's right underneath the diaphragm, and the orientation that it should be in there is that right there. It should be the O-ring first, the metal washer, spring, then your screw. So when you put it on your screw, it would be spring, your metal washer, O-ring. And on the newer carburetor, if you bought a Chinese one, right where that brass little hole is on that weird nipple thing, this portion, that would be where your mixture screw would normally be. But on the original, there's no setting for that. It's preset. And then this piece is pretty much the choke. It gets actuated with this lever on the fork onto the tip right there. And it goes into this hole right here, onto the top, right where the throttle screws in. Okay, so for the diaphragm, there's these specific holes it's supposed to kind of line up with around the outsides right here, where the bolts go in. And this little passageway on the side. What you do is you try to line that stuff up. Should be only one orientation. Okay, so for your idle screw, normally you want to start at a base of around 2.5 turns out from all the way in. And then if you do have the mixture screw down below, it recommends that you do 1 turn to a 1 1/4 turn to 1 3/4 turn. So depending on your elevation and stuff, you probably have to adjust that to fine tune it. But the idle you do first, and then you do fine tune. Alright, like this is where the carburetor would go. Oh, I just have a rag right there, make sure I don't try to spill gas on anything that's rubber or whatnot. And then we'll go ahead and get that in there. Basically, what you start with is you take out the seat, and then you take out the gas tank. And then you could pretty much get very good access to your carburetor. And you gotta go put it in your throttle spring. Usually it has an O-ring that'll go underneath where it's threaded. Make sure that that O-ring's in there, because if not, you'll mess up your air-fuel ratio, and that's no bueno. You don't want that. So the slide should only go in one way. If you are forcing it, you probably have it the wrong way. And then looking through, it has about maybe 10% of the slide showing like access through the air filter side. There's 2 hose clamps. There's the one from the air filter side, and then from the engine side. And you want to try to start with the engine side first, because it has a notch on it. And on the front hose clamp, there should be a little space, and then a tab on the carburetor to line up. That way everything is in tip-top shape. Make sure that your rubber hose clamp portion on the engine side is pretty much all the way against the carburetor where it should be. I like to try to make the hose clamps to where they're very easily accessible if you do desire to take it back apart. And then after you get the front hose clamp to the engine block on there, you can do the rear.
So this is what it should look like. The front portion should be pretty well tucked up on there, showing no kind of sleeve on there. And then same with the rear. You want to try to get it right against that lip. And then back to putting everything back on, gas tank and whatnot. So normally there is a filter on the inside of the tank on the petcock, but that bit the dust a long time ago, so I had to put an inline one. You could do that, or you could just buy another petcock. Either one will suffice. Get the bolts back in the gas tank. And it should be some 8mm bolts that are holding on the gas tank. And for the seat, which I reupholstered with some black jeans. And you on the front right here, there's a little circle notch, and there's a bolt with some funky washer, and it's made to fit into here and lock in your seat. And this point is supposed to lock into here on your frame, and then you bolt it into the back, and it all sits pretty tight. Sit all flat. Show you how the middle doesn't move. That portion's sitting down pretty good. Bolts line up pretty good. And there's two bolts right here behind where you sit. And those should also be 8mm, I think.
And there she is, all back together. Looks good. Everything's all bolted down and secure. Another thing that you probably want to have on you while you go start it for the first time after cleaning the carburetor is to have a screwdriver that'll probably fit into the idle screw, so you can adjust it on the fly. It might not be the same for every model or even the same year, you know. Different bike, different thing. So that's how you adjust and clean your carburetor for a KLX125 4-stroke. This is the large wheel. I don't think it matters if you have the large wheel or not. But runs good now. Starts, idles, stoked.